Welcome to another episode of Retail Power Talks. I'm excited to introduce our special guest today, Sadique Ahmed, the founder and CEO of Pathfinder and the visionary behind Retail GPT. Sadique, welcome to the show. We would love to hear from you about Retail GPT and Pathfinder. Over to you, Sadique.
Thank you so much for having me here. And Pathfinder has been in the business of retail intelligence for over 15 years now, working with airports and shopping centers. So we were always working with the data and understand what each retailer is clocking, because the numbers that come out of these till has a revenue component which the landlords take, which is shopping center, the airports. So we belong to that. It was an innovation done by us, and we were well recognized in the industry for the work that we did. But still, we saw that there's a huge, in order to make sure that we have a better vision to the solving the problem of what the retailer is looking at, the biggest piece was knowing the customers. So we were already capturing what each till is clocking, what is the sale happening at every receipt number, whether you buy a coffee or whether you go and buy a handbag in a store. The entire sale data comes to us because of the way we have integrated with all the retailers. This data is used by the landlords to compute their share of revenue. But the missing piece, which is a gold mine, was we don't know who the consumers are. Neither the retailer knows. Retailer knows who the consumers are to a very small extent. Usually, the percentage of customers that they know is less than 14%, while the remaining 86% they don't know. That's the industry average. And they would love to know who their consumers are, because only when you know your consumers, you can engage with them. Only when you engage with them, you can build your business. So this Retail GPT is a result of that vision of not just capturing, knowing what is being sold at every till, but it also knowing who's buying. So we understand their behavior. We understand so the whole concept of knowing the customer is required to grow the business. And today the customer is with his lifestyle changes. He buys partly physically, partly online. So there's a requirement to know the online spend of a consumer, the physical store, experiential buying. So then it requires a layer where a consumer gets engaged, so his entire shopping habits are understood, so that better privileges and better offers can be brought to the consumer. So this is the foundation of how Retail GPT's thought process started. But then for it to become, we have so many apps, we have so many programs, we have so many different concepts running in the market on a global scale. But there's no one single platform that has said that we have succeeded in knowing who the consumers are. So they always retailers run program, but the knowledge of the consumer is confined to within the brand. They don't. That information is not available at a public level or at a ecosystem level, at a mall level. It was never available. Plus, the age of AI. So we wanted to use the technology to bring about this game to a new altitude in such a way that the consumer experience is also taken care of. So that gave birth to the entire roadmap of Retail GPT, wherein a personal AI is created at the moment a user signs up. The AI will help the user to discover products, discover the stores in their neighborhood, discover the malls nearby, maybe in a new city, what to look for. So you can actually converse. This is a conversational AI. So actually, instead of you searching for something, you ask. It's conversation, and your buddy, who's your AI, remembers everything about you. So you don't have to repeat to say, send it to my home address is so and so. For example, I'm saying, if once you say this is my home, you just have to get this delivered to my home. So it fills in the address automatically and stuff like that. And you can remember last week I had a meal in this particular restaurant. I want the same meal for my son delivered to his home. I can say these conversations. So this
Oh,
is
wow.
what retail GPT is all about. So the user experience is where the whole big change is, wherein every retailer in the ecosystem, it creates an
Uh-huh.
opportunity to have a digital window for every brick and mortar store. So this is not an independent marketplace. It is actually bringing the existing brick and mortar into a digital marketplace. So unlike the aggregators or
Mm.
unlike the marketplaces that you see, these are new digital marketplaces which have nothing to do with the brick and mortar stores, right? But
Mm-hmm.
here,
Yeah.
this is the marketplace where the existing brick and mortar stores come together. They will be available on the same platform. So you will actually, for your staple needs, you will buy from the store which you are always buying. You will buy from the restaurant. You'll go to and have meal at the same restaurant where you always had a meal, and go to the mall where you always go. But what happens is the experience of buying changes. The
Wow.
experience is where the difference is. Number two, the element of privileges, and now that your identity is still not something that people can utilize just like that. So
Yeah.
basically, the identity of the user owns their data. Unlike in any platform, if you go, you have no control of who's using your data. So
Yeah.
here, the
Yeah.
user owns his own data, and you
Wow.
allow Retail GPT as a custodian of your data to bring privileges and rewards to you in exchange for rewards. So
Wow.
if you allow your data to be allowed to you, so for every purchase, you get something back as a cashback. So which means you're getting paid for sharing your data, for
Mm-hmm.
again giving back more privileges and more rewards for your own buying behavior. So this platform is a first of its kind where you earn on every spend.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
every time you spend, you earn. So we have brought about three different pieces together in this platform. One is the AI conversational experience. Second
Mm-hmm.
is the phygital engagement. We call it phygital because it's both the physical and the digital engagement of
Digital.
the same brick and mortar store.
Yeah.
So it's a phygital engagement of the retail ecosystem, where the consumer will have the same experience, whether by online or whether going to the store. His recognition,
Mm-hmm.
his privileges will be seamless. And the third is the
Yeah.
first of its kind, where for everything that you spend, you have a reward that comes back to you.
Yeah.
So which means you
So that
earn
is.
rewards. The rewards are in the form of cryptos, in the form of you sponsoring a tree for the carbon offset that you do, for the buying that you do. So the whole lot of things that come, which is not something that privilege. So this first of its kind that we have brought in this ecosystem, with the power of AI, with the power of consumer data, and with the power of tokenization. We have integrated all these aspects together to bring
Mm-hmm.
huge benefit to the consumer and to the businesses who are not getting discovered enough, which giving room for the new age commerces to take over their neighborhood business. So the neighborhood businesses are the original quick commerce people, or the original people who are serving the consumers, but they couldn't catch up on the conveniences which the new age businesses were offering. So now
Mm-hmm.
through this platform, the existing brick and mortar stores will exactly be able to offer the same convenience as that of a new search engine that is coming up.
Wow, that's really creative. Talking about the crypto-based reward system, how do you see blockchain technology transforming customer loyalty programs in the retail sector?
This again is the first of its kind where you're going to see
Mm-hmm.
cryptos being rewarded for every. So, for example, if you would probably go to a mall and spend, let's say, on a weekend, say 5,000 reals. By the time you step out of the mall, you will have, say, 25% of that money into your wallet in the form
Mm-hmm.
of cryptos. So that's the
Wow.
first of its kind, and this is completely on blockchain. And the blockchain that we have is unique because it has got
Mm-hmm.
quantum security on it, which allows very fast
Wow.
transactions to happen. Which is why I said, even as you step out of the mall, before you step out of the mall, the wallet will have credited the value of
Wow.
the purchases, that 25% up to, depending upon your criteria of tire, badge, and what you are in the ecosystem, between 10 to
Mm-hmm.
25% of earnings you will have, which will come straight away into your wallet. And the best part is you can use this money, use this crypto and there's no binding of you have to spend within the same mall again. I can go to some other
Mm-hmm.
mall and spend the money. I can go to some other
Wow.
country and spend the money. So you have the money with you. So you're actually earning wealth out of this spending that you do. That's the whole
Well,
point. And we use blockchain for this. One more big thing that we have done here is the user
mhm.
data is encrypted in the blockchain, which means nobody has access to the user data. So it is secured and it's completely on the blockchain. It's the first of its kind that is being happen on a global scale.
Oh, that is really fascinating. Talking about sustainability, it's the core principle of retail GPT. How do you ensure that your AI solutions align with the global sustainability goals?
The first thing that we're going to do here is for every
Mm-hmm.
set frequency of spend.
Mm-hmm.
So today, if you the number one thing on ESG, we have taken a few things out of the ESG compliance. One is the climate change. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone is aware, every citizen of every country wants to be part
Yeah.
of the preservation of the climate change. But when it comes to
Okay.
spending money, majority of them are not willing to put the dollar forward. So here,
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing here is through Retail GPT, every time you spend by going to a mall of your choice, by going buying from the
Mm-hmm.
store of your choice, by buying the lifestyle needs from the neighborhood stores, when for
Uh-huh.
each frequency of spend, let's say for example, every 1,000 riyals of spend, for example, I'm saying Retail GPT will plant a tree on your behalf.
Wow.
So suppose, for
That's really
example, if
interesting.
you, how is this going to be beneficial? Because with every transaction, you're creating a carbon footprint in terms of even
Yeah.
as small as getting a receipt. Every receipt that you get carries 16 grams of carbon.
Yeah.
Okay, and you would have come
Yeah.
by a petrol vehicle and you'd have taken a plastic bag. So there are different things that are contributing to the climate footprint that you're creating, carbon footprint that you're creating. So for every 1,000 riyals that you spend, a tree is planted on the consumer's behalf, on their name, and it is traceable through the platform. You can actually see the sapling being planted, and you can see your
Mm.
tree being grown. So anytime you can watch the tree is growing, and it's the GPS coordinates will be shared. It's not just a mere claim that the tree is being planted. The tree in your
Uh-huh.
name, you can keep tracing it. So let's say, for
Wow.
example, you spent 10,000 riyals in the last 3 months. So guaranteed 10 trees are being planted on your behalf. So this is the first step that we are taking, and we see within this year, I think with given this, even this being a launch year for us, we are hoping at least we'll
Mm-hmm.
be planting a very ambitious number of up to 1 million trees, because we are launched in 4 countries and launching in 4 countries this year. And we see at least 1 million trees coming up as a plantation that we would do, which will be a first of its kind, where you integrate climate change impact, the ESG compliance, the climate change impact with the retail transaction itself. And citizens are proud that they are at least contributing by offsetting the carbon footprint that they print, which is the first step
Yes.
towards protecting the climate change. This is the first step.
Yeah.
There's one more
Wow.
thing that is in the roadmap, where especially when
Mm-hmm.
in the food as a category, when you spend food as a category, for example, you're spending
Mm-hmm.
exclusively on food. Let's say for every 500 riyals you spend on food, you will be
Mm-hmm.
entitled to sponsor a meal to a needy person.
Wow. Oh,
So
that's
these are the
great.
things that are on the roadmap of things that we're doing, and the mission is all about the biggest motivation that is being sold here is happiness. So we are doing
Mm-hmm.
every feature, every aspect of retail GPT is to deliver happiness, to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that there's a delight for the consumer, because he's now able to shop what he's shopping, but the power of his data he's able to now earn. He's also able to give back something to the community. He's also give back to the climate as well,
Oh, this is like
ecosystem as well.
yeah. It's really like really interesting. Could you explain what
Yeah,
inspired you to create the world's first generative AI platform for retail?
it is not by coincidence. We have been in the business
Uh-huh.
of data intelligence for the last 15 years, working with
Mm-hmm.
shopping centers. We understood the pain areas where there is a need for growth. What fuels growth? We have seen the internet coming. We have seen in our lifetime of Pathfinder how e-commerce came in and how it started creating a dent for the physical stores. So
Mm-hmm.
we always saw how do we make sure that the brick and mortar stores stay and they grow. We always knew brick and mortar is going to stay, because the experiential buying cannot be replaced by online buying. So it
Mm-hmm.
is so, and for all this to for and what would make a retailer grow his business? The number
Yeah.
one thing was he doesn't know who his consumers are.
Mm-hmm.
So by enabling retail GPT, you're actually helping the ecosystem discover more of their consumers, engage with them better, and grow their business by knowing what they like, knowing which fashion they prefer, knowing which food they like, and how do you go back to them and get their feedback and offer more products. Hyper personalization is the number one thing that you
Mm-hmm.
get. So what I would get as an offer from a same brand would be different from what somebody else would get. It is based on my behavior. It is based on my spend within the brand or within the mall, etc. So all these
Mm-hmm.
things where we saw as a huge gap, if these were there, then definitely the way how retail would grow would be different. So after 6-7 years of research and talking to
Mm-hmm.
shopping centers and brands, this evolved. So it was not a
Wow.
coincidence. We were probably working the
Yeah.
last 7 years with where retail GPT is today. AI was
Well.
just 2 years old, but before that, without AI, we even did a pilot launch for customer engagement by in the name of Rappo. But then with
Mm-hmm.
AI coming in, then COVID came. Everything's COVID was a huge motivation because then
Mm-hmm.
the ecosystem realized had they knew their customers, we could have
Yeah.
digitally engaged and started doing
Uh-huh.
continuing doing a business. So it was a wake
Mm-hmm.
up call for the entire fraternity, and our job became very easier while we were telling the retailers you need to be digitally aware and digitally present. But COVID did the
Mm-hmm.
job of educating the whole retail ecosystem. And with AI
Yeah.
coming in, we added the layer of AI for enhancing the consumer experience so that the
Mm-hmm.
consumer also is delighted, the businesses are delighted, the shopping centers are delighted. So everyone is happy in the ecosystem.
Well, that's really, really interesting. What advice would you give for emerging entrepreneurs who inspire to make a significant impact in the retail technology space?
The number one thing I think is you cannot figure it out on day one. So
Yeah.
if you have figured out the problem, then and
Mm-hmm.
venture into the solution, solving the problem. Don't look at what solutions are already there. You figure out
Mm-hmm.
what problem can you solve, and
Mm-hmm.
in the path of solving the problem, you will evolve. So
Mm-hmm.
you will not be hitting the final solution on day one, but you'll solve the problem in stages, and as you keep
Mm-hmm.
solving, you keep learning, and your the summit of your solution will emerge, which is how the
Yeah.
journey of retail GPT is.
Your advice could be the guiding light for many budding entrepreneurs having such a vast experience in the sector. So, my last question for you would be, what are your predictions for the future of retail, and how is Retail GPT poised to address upcoming challenges and opportunities?
The whole ecosystem, AI is going to drive the future, and
Yeah.
the consumers can expect. For example, if today you would like to buy a garment for yourself, you probably would
Mm-hmm.
see a catalog. But with Retail
Mm-hmm.
GPT, what you could see is you could see yourself in that wearing that garment when you browse the
Uh-huh.
catalog. And
Mm-hmm.
suddenly you say, I want to go for a holiday in a for a wedding event or for a resort. So what are the
Mm-hmm.
best garment? What is the best costume I can wear? Which are the
Uh-huh.
brands? So when the brands catalog, you will become the lively person inside the catalog, and you would feature
Mm-hmm.
in the ecosystem of a resort to see how you would look like when you wear that
Oh, wow.
garment in that ecosystem. So these are the things which are coming in the future. So those who adopt technology, especially embrace in AI, will see a bright future. And and crypto is a reality. So having the enablement of cryptocurrencies
Mm-hmm.
linked with security and AI is definitely going to drive the businesses. Brands will take their time to embrace this, will see the impact of this slowing down, because the new age brands, the new local brands in each country are picking up on tech like anything, and they will be the movers and shakers of the future.
Wow, Sadiq, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. And thank you for
Thank you so
sharing
much.
your valuable insights and vision with us. We wish you continued success with Retail GPT and Pathfinder. Thank you, Sadiq.
Thank you so much.